Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for having me in another season of the safe entry zone of the brainstem. This time we'll talk about the medulla and the safe entry zone in the medulla. Starting firstly, the importance of the anterior lateral sulci on the medulla here. The surgical target area here for ventral medullary lesions can be shown here, and the anterior lateral sulcus is anterior to the live here. So this is called the anterior lateral, or called pre-olivary sulcus for safe entry zone. Actually, it's between, this is the sulcus is actually between the hypoglossal nerve and the C nerve, rotlets here. So we made a cut here or incision. It's near from the pyramid, so we must be careful not to disturb the pyramid here. And behind this incision is called the olivary nucleus. So our incision made between two very important structure here. Firstly, the pyramid. Secondly, is the olivary nucleus. Here is the far lateral approach, which use to reach the anterior lateral and also the post-olivary sulcus. Here the post-olivary nucleus here. Here the hypoglossal nerve, and here is the rotlets of C1. So linguinal incision will be made between the hypoglossal nerve and rotlets of the C1 for here for it's called the pre-olivary sulcus for safe entry zone, or the post-olivary sulcus here. The critical structure in this approach is going through the anterior lateral sulcus is the corticospinal tract, which may be injured during our incision in the pre-olivary sulcus incision. The nucleus, also ambiguous, must be taken into account when entering through the post, olivary sulcus. Here, the post-olivary sulcus. Here is the ambiguous nucleus. Another important safe entry zone in the medulla is called the dorsal medullary sulcus, or sulci. Here is the dorsal medullary sulci. Include the posterior median sulci, and also intermediate sulci and lateral sulci also. All of them propose safe entry zone. The median suboccipital approach used for to reach all of these three sulci. So here is the firstly is called posterior median sulci here in the midline, and here this is the intermediate sulci here. Here the posterior median sulci in this area, the posterior median sulci in the medulla. Here the gracile fasciculus on both sides. Here is the opex. Here is the lateral sulci in this area here. So here, as we said, posterior intermediate. Here is the median posterior median sulcus here. Here is the intermediate posterior intermediate sulci here, and here is called the lateral sulcus for safe entry zone. So we have three. Here is the posterior median. Here is the posterior intermediate. Here is the posterior lateral sulcus. All of them, safe entry zone in the medulla. Here, another picture from behind. Here is the, as we say, this is the posterior median. Here is the posterior, intermediate sulcus for safe entry zone. Here, the posterior lateral sulcus safe for the safe entry zone. So between the gracile fasciculus here and the cuneate fasciculus here will be the posterior intermediate sulcus for safe entry zone. Thank you so much for last lecture of the safe entry zone of the brainstem. See you in next lecture.